Population ecology. The population ecology is a branch of the ecology that focuses on the study of population. Means the group of the individual, or we can say a group of particular species. Okay, so the study of population within a particular species and their interaction with the environment. So this is known as the population ecology. Okay, so the study of the population means a group of individuals living in a particular area and how actually they interact with the environment. Okay, so it seeks to understand the factor influencing the abundance as well as the distribution of the organisms, as well as the distributions of the organism, and also understanding the dynamics of population over the time. So this is all about population ecology and the statistical study of the population and how actually they change over the time is known as demography. Okay, so the changes of population, or we can say the study of population, a statistical study of population and how actually they are changing over a period of a time is known as the demography. Let's see what are the population characteristics. So the population characteristic, it refers to the various attributes and the features. Okay, various attributes and features. So, the various attributes and the features that describe the group of the individual within a particular area or the species. These characters, they provide the insight into the composition, the distribution, and the dynamic of the population. So, what they provide? They provide the composition, they provide the distribution, and also they provide the dynamics of the population. So let's see what are the different characteristics. So first is the population density. So the population density means the number of individuals per unit of the area or the volume. Okay, means it helps us to understand, or it describe that how crowded or dispersed a population is present within its habitat. Okay, so the population density are of the two type. The crude density is there and the specific density is there. The crude density is a basic measure of the population density and is calculated as the total population size. Means whatever the or we can say that the crude form of the population density. So the total, whatever the total number of individual or the population is present, so that is divided by the total land area. Okay, total land area of the particular region. So whatever the number of population is present, it should be divided by the total land area of that particular area. So this formula of the crude density is as that the crude density is equals to the total population divided by the total land area, or sometimes when it is in the water, then the volume of that particular area. Okay, so the crude density, it provide a general overview of how many individuals they are present in a given space, but it does not consider the variation in the habitat suitability or the distribution of the resources within that particular area. Okay. Next is the specific density. So as the name suggests that the density present in a specific region. So a specific density, they takes into account only the suitable or the available habitat within an area. Suppose the area is there and particular habitat is there in which the group of individual is living. Okay, so it focuses on the portion of the environment that can support the population rather than the total area. Means it take into consideration only that particular habitat. So specific density is equals to the total population. Okay, total population upon available habitat area. or we can say available habitat volume, whatever the case. So it is taking into consideration only the available habitat in which the group of individuals are surviving. It is not considering the whole land area. So this is the difference between the crude density and the specific density. Specific density, they provide us the more refined understanding of how densely a population is distributed in an area that are usually conducive to their survival. Okay. So this is the difference between the crude density and the specific density. So first characteristic of the population is the population density. Second characteristic is the natality rate. Okay, natality rate means the ability of the individuals of population, because the population always belongs to the group of individuals of the same species. Okay, so the group ability of the individuals to produce a new individuals. Okay, to produce new individuals, or they can give birth to the new individuals. So that is referred to as the natality rate. And natality rate is also equals to the birth rate. It represents the number of the birth in the population during a given period of a time. And they are often expressed as number of individuals produced per unit time. Okay. And again, they are of the two type, the absolute natality is there and the realized natality is there. Absolute natality means maximum potential of individuals of producing new individuals, means whatever the maximum potential of that particular individuals to produce the or to give birth to the new individual is known as the absolute natality, while the realized natality is the actual birth in the normal ecological habitat, and the actual birth in the normal ecological habitat. So there are the two type of the natality rate. First one is the absolute natality. Second one is the realized natality. The third one is the mortality rate. The mortality rate is equals to the death rate, and it defined as the number of the death in a population during a specific period of the time. And they are calculated as the number of death per 1,000 individual per year. Okay. So they can be age specific, they can be ethnicity specific, and they are calculated as the crude death rate, which includes all the causes of the rate. Basically, there are again of the two type of the mortality rate. The first one is the ecological, or it is realized mortality rate. The second one is the minimum mortality rate. So the ecological mortality rate, it refers to the death rate or mortality within a population in the context of its ecological environments. Means where ecological environment, they play a very important role. So ecological or realized mortality is defined to as the death rate or mortality within a population in the context of the ecological environment. Means it involves it involves the understanding how the mortality is influenced by the ecological factors, such as the habitat conditions is there, availability of resources is there, predation, competition, environmental stresses. So all these factors also decides the death rate. Okay. So when the environmental or ecological environmental factor decides the mortality rate, that is known as the ecological mortality. The minimum mortality or the minimum mortality is the concept of the minimum mortality as the lowest observed mortality rate in the population under the specific condition, or we can also call as the ideal condition or within a